Well, while we're enjoying our bubbly, you may want a little snack, but we don't have to feel bad because next on our list of guilty pleasures is eating cheese. And we have someone here to explain the ins and outs of this yummy splurge, cheese expert, Andrew Steiner. So, Andrew, I'm going to ask you to come up here because we got a little cheese display for everyone.
Welcome, Andrew. The cheese man.
He's the big cheese.
That's right.
And I am so excited to hear about this because I want to know more about the ins and outs of cheese because cheese, in my opinion, is pretty tasty. But people, they're naive when it comes to cheese. So tell us what cheese is.
Well, basically, it's really simple. It's a concentrated form of milk, right? It developed by people trying to store this valuable product that came out of the animal without it spoiling. So they took most of the liquid out of it, and that's how they store it. So you get all that great calcium in there, all that great protein in there. It's really fantastic. It's good for strong bones and strong teeth. In fact, if you're after pure protein, there's more protein in a 1 ounce piece of cheese than a 1 ounce piece of meat or poultry or fish, for sure.
So, and I'm someone who I tend to like all kinds of cheese except for stinky cheese.
I love
that.
But
I
love the stinky.
I bet you we could convince you. We'll make a convert out of you one day.
You'll be surprised.
One day.
Yeah.
But, there's hard, there's soft cheeses, and I've always wondered, why is one soft?
Right. Remember what I said before. It's concentrated milk. Cheese is really, in its base form, all the same thing. There's only one difference between the hard cheeses and the soft cheese, and that's moisture content, right? We get rid of more of the liquid from the curds, from the raw cheese product, and we get a harder cheese. And this one is from the Netherlands. It's a Gouda. Most people pronounce it Gouda, G-O-U-D-A.
Okay.
That's wrong, okay? It's Gouda. This is really, really dry. You hear that? I can kill you with this, right? So don't make me mad. I got knives too, okay? But just so you know, somebody already took all the moisture out of this. So if I'm going to eat like a pound of cheese, right? A pound of this, half of which is butterfat, but there's only about 1 ounce or 2 of cheese. So there's only about an ounce, ounce and a half of fat in here. This one, if I take the water out of it, I still have a pound of cheese, so maybe 25% of it is butterfat. I've got probably 4 ounces of fat. Human beings eat by volume, not by percentage. There's so much more fat in hard cheese than soft cheese. It's not even close.
So if you're going to eat a hard cheese, you're going to want to splurge a little less. A smaller piece of the hard cheese when it comes to fat content.
It's probably a good idea to do that too because the hard cheese has got more concentration of everything, not just the fat, but the protein and the calcium, and there's less lactose in the hard cheese than the soft cheese. If you're lactose intolerant, you most likely, the older and drier the cheese gets, the more likely it is to have almost no lactose in it. So you can have that. Yeah.
I like to think of cheese is a little bit like when we talk about dark chocolate on the show or some of these other things. If you want to have an ounce, ounce and a half of cheese, this really rich cheese, it can actually satisfy you because it's got the protein in it. So as a snack, not a bad option. But
great health benefits too. It can help lower your blood pressure.
Absolutely.
The calcium, great source of calcium, is good for your bones. And, if you're picking the right cheese in moderation, it can actually help with weight loss because it's such concentrated nutrition.
That's a great point. I tell people till I'm blue in the face that if you get high-quality products, whether it's cheese or meat or whatever it is, if you get the real good stuff, you don't need as much of it. You can just have a bite or two, and you can say, hey, wait a minute, that was really good.
How do these cheeses compare to the cheeses we buy at the grocery store in the deli section?
That's a great point. A lot of those cheeses, and I can't speak for all of them, but a lot of them have very little to do with the way the cheese and the milk is in its natural form. There's a lot of oils, emulsifiers, stabilizers, colorings added to them, and that makes them last a lot longer and melt a lot better, but they're going to have a lot less nutritional content in them. Get the good stuff, eat less of it, it'll be healthier for you.
Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
And the sad reality is, probably the majority of cheese we eat in this country is the overly processed cheese. It's not really cheese at all. So thank you for explaining cheese to us. I can't wait to have some after the show.
Thanks for having me.